A girlfriend who her brother was Down syndrome, and she has a couple kids, and one of them is Down's. And man, oh man, is she amazing in the community? And her little kid, she is so fucking smart and so cute. And you see so much about Downs, like that model that just came out. She's like this Downs model, and you've got these married couples that have been together forever, blah 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 blah. I don't want to go down the slippery slope of Downs specifically just because you brought it up. But yeah, I mean, there are things, but when it comes to, like, if there's a legit health issue, like their insides are growing on the outside of their body, like there are certain things that there's no freaking way you're going to either carry this baby full term, or when you do carry full term and you give birth to this child, he's going to be in the hospital for 2-3 years. Who even knows? So in cases like that, what are you to do? Again,
I guess I still present the argument. And not that I don't understand. I pray to God that I never have to go through this and I end up having healthy children.
I mean, I just worked a lot with neonatal stuff, and so that's where I'm like, oh man.
No, I get it, and I mean that too. Like I get it.
Yeah.
But I guess my argument for me still stands is that's still a child, and that's where I'm so headstrong of, like, that's still a child, and I know.
But that's not a life. If you're living in an incubator with your guts on the outside of your body and multiple heart surgeries and all. I mean, what?
Well, but we're giving up hope. And if there's hope in that instance, why are we giving up hope? And again, I feel like we're just quitting, like, oh, we're quitting. I don't want this baby to suffer. It's like, how do we know it's suffering? Just because what we hear from a doctor. Again, 3 doctors told my mother to abort me.
Sure.
So again, what if a doctor said, but he's going to suffer his entire life, and yet look at me,
You suffer every day. See? This is the point. But I did tell you that you look super svelte today.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But, and that's, I feel like we give up hope when it comes to those situations of, and
I think we give up hope in a lot of areas.
In a lot of areas.
Life.
And I know, and this is one of them. I feel like we just quit. We find an escape route and we just leave.
Right, and we're real quick to make decisions in life, for sure.
Because it's so easy, aside obviously from Alabama, to have an abortion.
Alabama, Kentucky, Georgia. Yeah, and so then now there's health issues that have come into play. Like, there's all kinds of statistics on the CDC. I was on their website. It's so much to rattle off, so I'm not going to bore you, but I'll put it in show notes. But like, the CDC has all of these different, like, abortion surveillance finding reports and so on and so forth about, like, how, why, who, circumstances, and all this. It's really, really interesting. And it does unfortunately divide us yet again on reproductive health. If the statistics do, because you're on one side or you're on the other. I think you and I are Alan Thicke, like, we're a little blurred lines over here in regards to it. I mean, Johnny Boy and myself, because I feel like we both don't like it, but we both understand it. But
Alan Thicke?
Thicke. No, that's the dad.
Robin Thicke. Okay, good.
Alan Thicke, also dead.
Okay.
Wait, no. Robin, doesn't fucking matter. Blurred lines. Thank you for fact checking.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Way more important
back to
than
our
abortion.
Schedule. Yes, way more important. Way more important than abortion. I mean, she said Alan Thicke, and I'm like, Alan Thicke.
I loved Alan Thicke. Oh my.
And I'm over here, the 1992 baby.
Growing
of like,
pains.
Who the hell is Alan Thicke?
I know.
Isn't it Robin Thicke that created Blurred Lines? Anyway, we just spent like 30 seconds on this. Back to our schedule program.
Yes. Hello, thank you very much for joining us again on your PBS special. My name is Lyndsay Soprano, and this over here is John Ramirez. Reporting live from Burbank, California. Oh no, Lyndsay. So, fuck, man, I don't have an answer to this.
I don't either.
I just know that, like I said in the rape episode with my situation, had that happened to me, or had I gotten pregnant when I was raped, there's no fucking way I would have wanted to go through that.
And there's
just no fucking way.
There's many ways. There's the March for Life that happens every year in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Well, and not just in Washington, D.C. It's all big cities.
The big one
is
in Washington.
The world.
Yeah, the big one is in D.C. That I have several friends that go to it. Mm-hmm. Several friends, and I've thought about going. I've been, and I will be honest in this. I will be very honest. I've been a very silent anti-abortionist person. because I know how hot and heavy it is, and I know, and I'm more the type that let me hear you, and let me hear your frustration. Let me hear that it's your body. Let me hear that because I feel you and I understand it. It is your body. You have every right. You do. You have every right to have an abortion. You do.
Yeah, and don't stand out front of these clinics where these women perhaps were raped and pillaged or they're in an abusive marriage. Don't stand out there and shout at these poor people.
But I will say, hold on, but I will say this, though. Just because you have a right doesn't make it right, if that makes sense. Just because you have a right to have an abortion, I don't feel like it's right.
Sure, of
and
course.
I know, and
I
for me, deep
saying.
down, it's not right. And that's why I go back to what's right and what's wrong. You know, real quick, just touching upon, I mentioned before, I kind of teased the whole rape incident, or what, like, what if you, when you shared your rape story, and then, what if you would have gotten pregnant? I sat with it. I sat with it for a week, and I really did. I sat with it, and I try to find an answer. And if I, put myself in my shoe. Put myself in your shoes as the, possibly the father, and my daughter, was raped, got pregnant. What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
And this is gonna come off as maybe like oh, come on. But I thought about it really strong and really hard about it, and I probably would end up having the kid. And you can call bullshit on that.
I'm not calling bullshit.
You can call anger.
I'm angry because I can tell you this much right now. Like I said on the rape episode, dude, you love up on your daughter that you have right now that's alive and kicking. You don't go after a rapist's not even fetus 6 weeks in. That's insane to me.
It is insane. It's very insane.
Wait, so I have a question. Hold on, before you keep going. Is it from a God and Christianity Catholic perspective where you believe that if I got pregnant, even whatever the circumstances were, that was a gift to me from God, and I am to embrace it and give birth to it, no matter how fucking hard it's going to make my life and everybody around me? Is that where you're coming from?
There's people that have thought that. I don't.
Okay, I wanted to confirm that.
I come from a place of, like I just brought upon you. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to convince myself that it's not a person. It's very hard for me to convince myself, and it feels like I'm literally committing murder, and because I consider it a timeline.
A little overdramatic.
Well, for you it might, for maybe a majority of people it may be, but I look at it as, again, the timeline that I present, and I just can't turn my head away from that. I see it as it's a person. And it's not this person's fault that they were a product of rape. Sure.
No, I get that.
And yet I would look at my daughter like I would love up on her, but I just feel like it'd be a disservice to her to go through two traumas in her life, to go through one a rape incident and to have an abortion, to be stuck with her, and I know you may think of the baby being a trauma, but why? Why is life a trauma?
Oh my God, you haven't lived mine.
No, but I haven't. That's
maybe I should have been aborted.
Hold on, and that's what I'm saying is I don't understand. I don't understand that part. That's where I'm telling you I'm very biased when it comes to it, because I haven't lived that.
Right. So
I'm telling you my answer as a 26 years old,
almost 27 this month,
in 2019. That's where my stance is. I'm not an ignorant person. I don't believe I'm an ignorant person on this. I just believe. And again, fight me on it. Argue with me on it. I'm just like, you can't convince me again of that timeline. You just can't.
That's fine. And I'm not trying to.
No, I know. But I guess I'm speaking to the listeners of like, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm not trying to argue against you. I'm just presenting my side of like, I see it as a timeline.
So I have a question. Hypothetically, let's just say my whole rape situation, which is what we're calling it, and I thought we were going to rename it because I don't like saying that. Let's say I produce children. I have a child from this situation. What do I tell my daughter or my son about how they came to be? What is their birth story? How do I explain to them that I was raped in a park by a bum and that is how you came to be? How do you do that? And how does that not fuck up the psychology of that kid? Not only you, but them. Those kids have so many issues when they do find out about their birth stories, and so many of them commit suicide. So many of them have drug problems. Some of them even still, what happens is women, when they're young or when something traumatic happens, they drink like crazy, they smoke like crazy, they do drugs. So now you've got alcohol fetal syndrome. Now you've got drug-induced babies when they're born. I mean, like I said, the slippery slope is crazy. So again, it is case by case. From my perspective, it has to be, because nobody knows what happened to A, to B, or to C for you to really judge their decision in regards to it. I mean,
I get it, and
I know, and I'm fucking mad. I'm mad at my girlfriend for aborting 3 kids. I'm mad at another girlfriend for aborting 2. I'm mad at because I don't agree with those decisions. But no matter what, neither of them could have taken care of these kids. But could they have put them up for adoption? Yes, they could have. And I'm a huge advocate of adoption, because me and my ex-husband, we did the adoption thing, the fertility thing. I tried to get pregnant and could not. So if I did right now, I would have it, which we've talked about. I don't care who it is or what it is. And guess what? If I have fucked you or will fuck you in the past, or in the future, if I get pregnant, I'm keeping the kid. I won't hold you responsible. Okay? I'm putting it out there.
And I guess that's where I'm at, because I get what you're saying. I'm going back again to what you were saying about all the incidents. I mean, all the possible. Well, yes, the incidents of rape cases, and then 2,
what would happen to the kids after? Right. Okay.
I go back to 1, and I'm not trying to bring up fairy tale land with it, but again, I think of hope. I think of hope, and I think of it's the same thing of how you tell your kid that they were adopted. You know, how would you tell your kid you're adopted? A
way different story than your mom was raped.
That is 100% true. 100%. But I would go back to think,
it's your uncle.
I would say use that as a premise, and I don't know the answer. I don't. Again, I'm not trying to. I'm just advocating that it's a human life, and I don't know the answer how to explain to your kid they were a product of rape without completely screwing their whole mind up.
Right.
I guess I would end up just smothering them with love, smothering them with great upbringing, where they think of that as like, I'm so happy that I have both of you or all of you, the whole family that was here amidst the way I was born. I'm glad you gave me a chance, and I think that's how I feel about adoption. Is there's many families out there that want a chance, that want to be given a chance to have a child.
I do. I've actually re-upped my whole idea of being a single parent adoption chick, which I had started before I met my ex-husband. I had started a fertility by myself, adoption by myself, because all I wanted to be was a mom, and then that got all screwed up in this. But then I'm hesitant because of my health issues, like my CRPS stuff, right? So that's the only thing, because I completely support adoption. And so again, I'm just going to circle back to it, because I know that we're hitting on time over here, but keep your legs closed if you can't afford a baby. Okay, let's just start there.
I can get behind that.
I can't.
100%. Okay? I'll get behind that one.
I can monetarily, economically, home, everything. My family's great. If I got knocked up right now, I would love you and take you into my arms, and I don't give a shit about the guy if he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Done and done. I would not do the abortion thing. I mean, unless I was going to be on the cover of like People or something.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know you are. So I'm saying, oh my gosh.
Who can I fuck in Hollywood? Who can I completely rape?
That was
Ryan
really dark.
Ryan Gosling, you're on my list.
That was really dark. That took a really dark turn. Who can I rape in Hollywood? That's really dark, Lyndsay.
I'm not a star fucker.
No, I understand.
I'm not a star fucker. I could give a shit about fucking fame. It's so stupid. Even though I want us to be famous with this podcast, so that's a whole different ballgame. Fuck, man. There's so many things that wrap itself around abortion, and everybody's life is different. Everybody's circumstances are different. Where they live, whether they're schooled. I mean, God, there's so much involved in it. I mean, we don't even have home ec in high school anymore, right? Like, girls don't know how to do shit. Boys don't know how to do shit anymore. And I feel like that's why they're not having sex, and they're, just giving a lot of head.
Fair enough.
So keep swallowing those babies,
Oh my
girls.
gosh.
Keep swallowing
They're
them.
not babies.
Oh, okay. So here we go.
That-
sperm is not a baby.
It's not.
I know. I'm kidding.
It is not.
Swallow
you know
the
what?
to
Hold
be
on.
babies.
Just to close up on this, and I talked about the timeline again. And